In this session, we take a look at the fundamentals of locating specific elements using CSS selectors. We shall make use of the CSS pseudo classes. A pseudo class is used to define a special state of an element. Example, it can be used to change an element's style when a user hovers over it or style a specific element differently from the rest based on its position, among others. Pseudo classes are denoted using a single colon and are often combined with HTML classes. We shall get into the usage of pseudo classes now. Let's take a look at the course material. We have 10 match entrants. That can be confirmed when we inspect the elements of the site. There are 10 elements with the class name fball-entry, all which are children of the form with the class name fball. Now, before getting to how to locate elements using pseudo classes in Selenium, it is important that we understand some fundamentals first. Let us style the first match entry with a red background. For that, we can use the first child selector. So on the style section of the site code, we shall first add the class name, then the colon, and denote that we want the first child of any element that happens to have the class name of fball-entry should be styled with a green background. When we save and reload the code, the first football entry is styled differently. We can also use the nth child selector, and since we want to style the first child, denote the one in the brackets. If we wanted to style the second child, we will use a 2 instead, and so forth. Now, if we add a button element just before the first match entry, the button becomes the first child of the parent element, the form. So that styling won't be applied to the match entry. And if we add the fball-entry class name to the button becomes styled with the background, because the button has now become the first child of the form element bearing the fball-entry class name. Now we can also use the first of type selector to accomplish the same thing. However, these two selectors are not the same, and their differences are quite interesting. When we replace the nth child selector with the first of type selector, both the button of the first match entry are filled with a green background. We can also use the nth of type selector and denote in the brackets that we want the first element styled with a green background. Let's add a span element with the class name fball-entry. Upon refresh, it also has the green background. This is because the span element is the first span element of the form element or a first of span element type. Same with the button, which is the first button of the form element, and also the first match entrant, which is also a first div element of its parent, the form. If we add another span element, the new span element becomes the second span element within its parent, or the second of type span, and will not be styled with a green background. We can make the font color white for visibility.